Now we'll do downward dog with hands on blocks. So place your yoga blocks against the wall on the sticky mat, about shoulder distance apart, and be on hands and knees here with your hands on blocks. And then slowly step up to down dog. Lift the buttocks up and back. Press your hands into the blocks and think of pulling your upper inner thighs up and back away from the push of the hands. Keep your knees bent if that makes it easier for you to keep your buttocks lifted. Think of the backs of your legs getting longer and broader, and lift up also through the fronts of the legs. Lift the toes to wake up the muscles of the feet, and pull your outer hips back as much as the inner thighs are pulling back. Think of your pelvis pulling back and up off of the rib cage. Pull your rib cage up and back off of the shoulders. Lengthen and stretch through your arms. Be active in your limbs. Breathe here as you think of elongating the spine. Steady inhale, steady exhale. Again, find a press of the hands onto the blocks. Find the full height of the legs. And then lower your knees down and rest. Now move your sticky mat away from the wall. Grab your blocks and we'll do an extended child's pose. So come to your hands and knees. Place your hands on blocks, shoulder distance apart. Bring your big toes to touch, knees a little bit wider than your hips. Pull your hips back and slide your hands with the blocks forward so that your trunk and your arms are very extended. Pull your buttocks back and let your spine elongate here and stay active in your arms. Stretch through the elbows, stretch through the palms. Lift your chest and lengthen your chest forward, elongating the abdomen, and then release your head down again towards the mat. Spread your fingers and pull your outer hips back as much as you stretch your side ribs forward. Breathing here, relaxing into the length, relaxing into the extension. Smooth, steady breath as you stay active, lengthening the front of the spine, lengthening through the armpits. Breathing here. And then slide the blocks back a little bit as you come up to hands and knees and come out of the pose. And now come to your feet for a Parshvottanasana, variation at the wall. Please step your left foot forward and right foot back and square your hips. Make sure that your legs are hip distance apart, so it's not like being on a tightrope, but there's some width to the legs. And then lift your arms overhead, stretch your arms to the ceiling, spread your hands and fingers, lengthen the waist. The back foot is at about a 45-degree angle. Press the feet down, lift up through the legs, really lengthen up through the legs, and then you'll hinge at the hips to bring your fingertips towards the wall and then onto the wall. And press the inner edge of your left foot down, that's the front foot, and from that pressing of the foot down, draw up through the left leg and pull the left hip back. That will help you square the hips more and bring the right foot forward, and then be strong in the back leg, full extension through the knees. And then come up, lengthening again through the waist and the arms, and keep that length through the trunk as you lower the arms down. And then we'll switch sides. Now bring the right foot forward and the left foot back. Square the hips. Press the feet down and lengthen up through the legs, energizing the legs here. And now energize the arms as you bring them up overhead. Think of the reach of the arms as a way to lift the rib cage and lift the belly. And then keep this length and engagement in your body as you start to hinge at the hips and take your fingertips onto the wall. Even walk the fingertips up the wall slightly. And then start to relax the spine and the head so you can enjoy this nice stretch through the trunk and also a stretch through the legs. Be extended through the knee joints. Press the inner right foot down to pull the outer right hip back. Pull the left thigh back. Even walk your fingertips up a little bit more. Think of the front of the spine lengthening and breathe here. Steady, smooth breath. Stay engaged as you find earthy, firm legs. Lift the arms up to come off the wall. Lower the arms down and step your feet together. Now for Urdhva Hastasana with a block and a strap. Place the block between your feet and hold the strap in your hands so that your hands are about shoulder distance apart. The inner feet should be hugging the outer edges of the block. And then reach your arms up overhead. Put a little tension in the strap. Elongate through your whole body, your trunk and your limbs. And think of the thighs pulling back, especially the inner thighs pulling back. You can do a little bit of internal rotation in your thighs, especially at the very tops of the thighs, the roots of the legs. So turn your thighs in and pull the thighs back. Maintaining that, lift the low belly and let the upper buttocks release down. Pull the upper inner thighs back and then lengthen up through the rib cage, through the arms. Connect your feet to the ground. Lift the arches and lift all the way up through the body, through the arms. And then as you exhale, lower your arms down. Next, we'll do Ardha Uttanasana. Place your blocks onto the sticky mat, about 1.5 feet in front of you. Make sure your feet and legs are parallel. Internally rotate the thighs and draw up through the musculature of the legs. Hands on hips. Shoulders back. Lift through the spine. And then hinge at the hips to come forward, placing your hands on blocks. Reach the chest forward and pull the thighs back. Stretch the arms and stretch the legs. Think of the upper inner thighs reaching back as you lengthen the abdomen forward, lengthen the bottom front ribs forward, spread wide through the collarbones. Think of the backs of the legs lengthening and lifting up. Lift the buttocks, even think of spreading the buttocks, and pull the front ribs forward. Lengthen the front of your spine here. Make sure your weight is even on the inner and outer edges of the feet. Think of lifting the inner arches, lift the ankles. And then make your legs taller as you lower your hands down towards your feet, onto the floor, and fold yourself fully down now, coming into Uttanasana, just for a moment. And then hands on hips, lift the shoulders and chest, and come on up. Recover here with an open chest. And now we'll do Uttanasana again. Parallel feet, thighs rolling in. Lengthen up through the musculature of the legs, hands on hips, shoulders back, chest open, and then fold forward. Bring your fingertips to the ground. And just let your head be heavy and relaxed. Draw up through the inner legs and the outer legs. Let your torso relax down. Think of the abdomen receding and lengthening. So no pushing out with the belly, no hardening of the belly. The groins and inner thighs reach back, and the belly recedes and elongates. The sides of the rib cage release down. The entire rib cage releases down as the pelvis lifts up, as the legs get taller. Lift the tail and release the head. Let your elbows bend out to the sides. Be long in the front of your trunk as much as in the back of your trunk. Breathing here as you enjoy the stretch. Stay engaged in your legs, stay engaged in your mind. And now bring your hands to your hips, stretch your chest forward, shoulders back to come up. And then release the arms. And now for Prasarita Padottanasana, classic variation. Step your feet wide, hands on hips, toes turning in slightly. It's nice to line up your heels with the back edge of the mat. You can really see if you're even in your stance. Thighs back, shoulders back, long spine. Stretch your arms out to the sides. Spread your right arm to the right and your left arm to the left. Inner thighs back, long through the waist. Radiate out through your limbs. And then hands back to your hips again. Lengthen the spine even more, shoulders back, look up, and then exhale and fold forward. Make your legs taller as you fold forward, fingertips down. Stretch your chest forward. Make your legs taller. And then as you exhale, fold down forward, bringing your hands right between your feet, bending at the elbows. Spread your hands, spread the soles of the feet. Be very alive and long and engaged in your legs, and let your spine release down, and let the top of your head come towards the floor. It may touch, it may not. Pull your elbows back towards your shoulders and gently lift the shoulders away from the floor as you release the spine down even more. Lift and broaden the backs of your legs, lift the buttocks. Connect your feet to the ground, lengthen your legs again. And then walk your fingertips forward. Walk your feet in slightly. Take your hands to hips, lift your shoulders and elbows, and come up with an open chest. And then step your feet together to recover. Now we'll practice Supta Virasana. So get your bolster ready. Spread out your blanket as you see here. Come onto your shins. Bring the top of your head to the floor and pull your calves out to the sides so you can rest your thighs down and your hips down between your feet. Make sure your feet are pointing straight back. And then pull your torso back so that the bolster is supporting you under your rib cage. And then reach your arms up and overhead. Think of the roots of your thighs, the very tops of your thighs, sinking and releasing down. Soften in your groins. Let the pubic bone release down towards the floor. Think of a soft, long belly here, a long abdomen. Stretch your arms back. Keep the hands and fingers open. Let your head release back over the bolster and enjoy the length in the front side of your trunk. Long abdomen here. Release the right and left sides of the pubic bone down, softening more and more in the groins. And use your hands for support as you come out of the pose. Lean onto your hands and stretch your right leg back to open the back of the right leg, and then stretch the left leg back to open the back of the left leg. Now we'll do a supported fish with 2 blocks and a strap. Set up your blocks as you see here. And then sit on your butt with your back to the blocks. Release your buttock flesh away from your low back. And then lay back on the blocks. The block underneath your shoulder blades will be at the medium height. And then the second block will support your head. Knees bent and feet flat for support. And then grab your strap at shoulder distance apart and pull the arms up and overhead. Make sure that the flesh of your buttocks is really moving down and under you towards the feet, so you can lift the pelvis and adjust that again. And then release the legs down and let your legs be heavy. Let your thighs be heavy. Relax the groins and the inner thighs. Let your pubic bone descend. Lengthen through the spine and stretch through the arms. Stretch the strap away from the top of the head. And breathe length into your whole body here. Long in the elbows and knees and armpits. Long in the abdomen. Relax into the support of the blocks. And let that block under your shoulder blades help teach your chest how to open. Long in the belly here. Breathe length into your whole body. Steady and smooth your breath here. And enjoy this supported extension, this supported back bend. And now bring your arms up and over towards your hips. Bend your knees so your feet can support you, and use your hands to help you come up to sit.